Sex in our culture today is not the way that God originally intended it to be. There's a great deal of research that shows in the 60s and onward, it became more about what gratifies self in the moment. And we see that play out as people take to one-night stands and moving from partner to partner. As long as something is good in the moment, it's fine, but as soon as you tire of it, you're done. Sex between humans is meant to be reflective of the deepest intimacy you can have with someone, and it's meant to be within the bounds of marriage. It is where you can be together unashamed and enjoying what God has made, something so beautiful and precious. When we look at the seventh commandment, which is to not commit adultery, this is not just the physical act. There's so much more at stake. When you commit adultery, you break your covenant with your spouse, which is meant to be reflective of the covenant you have with God and the covenant that God has with his church. It's supposed to be beautiful and spotless. And when you break it, you break trust. But more than that, you create disruption in your home. Even if you don't have kids, there's still disruption in the home. And when the home is disrupted, society becomes disrupted. It's a series of events that unfold together and create ripple effects. Sex is meant to be honored and something special. And it's not just an action, the sex act itself. Jesus expands on this commandment in Matthew 5:26 through 27, where he talks, or I think it's 5:27 through 28, where he talks about if you lust after another, you're committing adultery with them in your heart. So it goes into the heart and the mind when you look beyond your spouse for someone to gratify you or to bring you pleasure in an instant. These kinds of things are not okay. They go back to self-gratification, which is what led to sin in the first place, putting self ahead of God and others, all the way back to the fall. We are called to more than this. We are called to love each other as God loves us, and we are called to honor what we have said we will honor, to not just give it up on a whim or because we have a desire, but to be very careful in stewarding the things that God has entrusted to us. Don't take your responsibilities lightly. Live up to them. It's a lifelong commitment.